French workers right now enjoy a 35-hour work week and at least 5 weeks of vacation. That is French law right now. And now there is going to be a law that many of them, independent contractors mostly, will not have to check work emails after 6 p.m. This new agreement was proposed to control the amount of hours worked by employees. The use of technologies extends the boundaries between work hours and free time. Those people have to have at least 11 hours a day of free time, which means they can legally work up to 13 hours, not more, which is already good for a day of work, don't you think? Now, we're in America here, guys, right? I believe this is America. This is not an American thing, that you'd actually stop working at some point. What do you think of these crazy socialists?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think
France?
You turn off the phone at 6 o'clock, enter the next French baby boom. I mean, what else are you going to do after 6 o'clock if you're not checking? And there was a story that came out recently saying the number one thing limiting Americans having sex is their phones. And so, yeah, I mean, like, France needs to be having more sex, but here it is, you know?
Yeah. Now, they already have, so they have a 35-hour work week. They have the 5 hours of vacation, which we don't have mandatory here in the United States. This is going to cover about 200,000 voters because it's contracted workers. It's not, it's people that they bring in to just do jobs here and there, that they'll have the cutoff time, not just the average employee of the company.
The average employee does not have the
average employee will still have to check his work email after 6 o'clock.
I mean, I like the French. I like how they do it. I think less work is better. This whole idea in American culture that the more you work, somehow the better person you are, right? And that's not true. Like I don't work at all, and I'm a great guy. And I mean, really, work is overrated. It really is overrated. Nobody wishes they worked more on their deathbed. And we're a bunch of, I think we're a country full of adult children of alcoholics. Where we're all workaholics, and we're all. We work way more than people work in Europe, not only France, right? And Americans don't know that because we're ignorant of the rest of the world and we don't travel, so people don't know that. When I say that in my stand-up act about how they get all the vacation time everybody gets in Europe, people are like, "Are you kidding me? Yes, no, I'm not kidding you. And this is your capitalism screwing you." And nobody seems to. There's never. Why don't we get something like this in America?
Well, because wouldn't every Republican and Rush Limbaugh and everyone on right-wing radio say that 3 times fast? Wouldn't they all say this is the most un-American thing there is, that you have the right in America to work yourself into the ground and all that thing?
I mean, I think that's the big thing. Like, if you want to work, go ahead and do it. And I think that's a good thing. If you want to work, I think you should be able to do it. But I just think the way the brain works, there's diminishing returns. After a certain amount of time in front of the computer screen, you're going to be less productive. So I think, is this a good thing? Yeah, it's a good thing. Should you actually force people to turn their phone off, to not answer emails? I don't know that I'd go that far.
Right, but, so that's the interesting part of this to me.
Someone would force you to turn off your phone?
That's exactly what I want to talk about. Because, right, I can leave work, we'll leave here and I'll stop reading political stories and things of that nature, but the tweeting and the rest of it, that part, and checking emails, somebody may email me a story, so that doesn't stop. So perhaps there's something good in this just for that, not just the work end of it, but the actual ability to disconnect from the endless internet.
I applaud this. I applaud the whole thing. Anything we can, again, it's almost like a race to the bottom. They're starting to. I understood that they were going to lengthen the work week in France. That there was a big movement for that. Did you hear anything about that?
I didn't.
All right, maybe I saw it on Saturday Night Live or something. But
that's why your work week never ends. You actually make up stories, which is really sort of amazing.
Yeah, that's my week. But less work. But we've been sold this stupid bill of goods that work equals a good life or a good person. Work is good in certain, but everything in moderation, including work.
Yeah.
Well, and especially in this industry, the 24-hour news cycle, or even on the web, it's like where Twitter followers are essentially currency. If something breaks, you want to tweet about that. It's just how the dynamic works, and there's no turning it off. It would be nice, and in this situation, these guys are doing work that you can turn off, so that's a good luxury.
But can you turn it off? Because these are contractors who are just being brought in to do specific jobs. It almost seems like these are the types of people that shouldn't turn it off, as opposed to the guy that's working at the office all day that can work 9 to 5 and feel like his job is done. As opposed to the guy, who needs to get out there and grind. He's the guy that this law is affecting. So it maybe is a little backwards.
Well, it sounds like that union's got a good negotiator, right?